So in income tax, you know that we have studied the five heads. There are five heads under which the income is evaluated. One head is income under salaries, income from business and profession. Third is income from capital gains. Fourth is income from property. And fifth is income from other sources or miscellaneous sources. Now, then we have also talked about what is tax deducted at source. We have studied about TDS. We have studied of set off and carry forward of the losses. Now, suppose a person has got income from two or three sources. Let us say a person is also a salaried employee. A person is also having some side business also. Person is also having some income from interest or from investments, from shares. So he has got income from some income from capital gain, some income from interest, some income from salary, and some income from, say, some part-time business. So therefore, a single person, a single individual can also have business income from more than one source. It can be even more from two sources, three sources, four sources also. So when this total income is clubbed, it is known as gross total income, GTI, gross total income. Now the Income Tax Act has allowed certain deductions which can be deducted from your gross total income. What are these deductions? We'll be talking about them and we'll be knowing what are the various sections under which these deductions fall, and they are very important. Due to these deductions, the gross total income can reduce. So when we reduce the deductions from the gross total income, it becomes the gross income. And then from the gross income, we calculate our tax and we apply the various tax slabs. Now, this applying deduction is also known as tax planning. Because in the very first chapter, you had studied what is the difference between tax planning, tax management, tax evasion, tax avoidance. So there are three, four terms in this. So tax planning means when a person invests the money in such a way, or when the person puts the money in such expenditures which are eligible for deductions, then he or she may reduce their taxes. So therefore, now let us start our presentation. This is deductions from gross total income. I think you are able to see this slide. So gross total income and deduction from gross total income. So this is provided by Income Tax Act 1961, contained in Chapter 6A and in the form of deductions from Section 80C to 80U. So these deductions start from 80C, C to 80U. A and B is not there, and similarly after U is also not there. S, T, U, V, W, X, Z, Y are not there. Section 80C to 80U are there. So they are the permissible amount by which the gross total income is reduced to arrive at the gross total income which is liable to tax. So they are intended to act as incentives to the SSE, that is to the income tax SSE, for achieving certain economic objectives. So this is what I told you. They are like tax planning. So intentionally, the income tax SSE tries to put money in those deductions so that he or she is eligible for those deductions, right? So some basic rules of deduction. Rule number one is that the aggregate amount of deductions under sections 80C to 80U cannot exceed gross total income. Of course, let us say somebody has invested, somebody's income is 5 lakh rupees per annum, and this person invests 6 lakh rupees under these sections. So it cannot exceed. Why it cannot exceed? So you will say, no, why he cannot invest 6 lakh? How he will explain to the income tax authorities? If his income is 5 lakh rupees, how he has invested 6 lakh rupees in various investments. That is from 80C to 80U, which we are going to study. So income tax department will ask from where this income came, extra 1 lakh came. So therefore the deductions can be equal to the income or should be less than the income. Even if it is equal to the income, then the income tax may ask you the question that how you are running your household, how you are eating, how you are bringing your food. So that means you must be having some other extra income which you are not showing to the income tax authorities. Maybe you are having a black income which you are not showing. Is there any logic in this sentence or not, what I am saying? I want your active participation also. Yes, please. We are saying that the
Yes, sir.
aggregate amount of deductions under 80C to 80U. I told you the example. Suppose a person's income is 5 lakh rupees in 1 year. Now this person has invested 6 lakh rupees in various deductions.
Yes, sir.
So the income tax department will raise eyebrows. Why?
So
That
because
is
the investment is more than his income.
so from where this extra 1 lakh rupees came to him.
Yes, sir.
So that means he's not either not showing his income,
No, yeah, फिर
uh,
उसका he has
or
to
it
show
is
the
some black
proof.
income, some
Yes, sir.
black
Yes,
money
sir.
he's generating. Right. So rule 2 is that these deductions are to be allowed only if the assessee claims these and gives the proof of these investments or
Yes, sir.
expenditure
Yes,
or
sir.
income. So one has to give the proof.
Yes, sir.
So categories of deductions, or you can say number 1 category is to encourage savings. So they are savings or for investments. Number 2nd kind of deductions are for certain personal expenditure. For example, for housing loan, you are paying the interest, you are paying the principal amount, or for children education, there could be a deduction, or for buying a life insurance policy, or for buying a health insurance policy. So they come under personal expenditures. Third, for socially desirable activities. For example, there is section 80G, wherein if you donate money to certain organizations, you also get deduction. For example, nowadays, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched PM Cares. So this is a PM Cares is a fund for uh, fighting the coronavirus and for providing food to the poor people. So if anybody gives money to PM Cares fund, so he get 100% deduction out of it, because it comes under section 80G. Similarly, some of the deductions, 4th category of deductions, are for physically disabled people. People who are physically disabled or are critically ill. So there are certain specified illness into it. So for whatever money they spend on their illness, so that is also allowed as deduction for them. Right. So these are 4 categories. First category is for savings or investment to encourage. I can add into it to encourage savings and investments. For certain personal expenditure, which I told you, for housing loans, for insurance plans, etc., and for socially desirable activity, that is for charitable purposes, and 4th for physically disabled people. Right. Now, the most prevalent, the most popular, and the most applicable deduction is section 80C. Although we have discussed it, you know, from time to time in the class also. So 80C, from assessment year 1920 onwards, it is applicable only to individual and HUF, and this section provides for deduction in respect of certain expenditure or investments paid or deposited by the assessee in the previous year. So for example, now 1920 has become a previous year and 2021 has become the assessment year. For 1920. Similarly, if we talk about assessment year 1920, so it was the assessment year for its own previous year, which was 1890. Now what? So the gross qualifying amount under this section refers to the payment and investment under some of the following schemes. So these are some of the schemes. These are some of the schemes in which if you invest, you will get deduction up to 1,50,000 rupees or actual. So 100% of the amount invested or rupees 1,50,000, whichever is lower. If suppose you have invested only 50,000 rupees in the instruments given under section 80C, then you will only get deduction of 50,000 rupees. If you invest 2 lakh rupees in the instruments which are given in under this section, even then you will not get the deduction of 2 lakh rupees, because the limit of deduction under this section is 1,50,000. So which are these? Number one, life insurance premium paid. If somebody takes a life insurance policy on his life or the life of his family members, so whatever premium he or she pays can be used as a deduction from his gross total income. Second is statutory provident fund and recognized provident fund. So I would say contribution of employee to statutory provident fund and recognized provident fund. So statutory provident fund is a provident fund which is mandated by the government. It is used for central government employees, whereas a recognized provident fund can be used by private companies also, but it should be recognized by EPFO, Employee Provident Fund Office, or by the government. Right? Then there is 15-year Public Provident Fund or PPF. Similarly, here also contribution into 15-year Public Provident Fund, or you can say PPF, right? Or Employee Provident Fund, you can say, or EPF. Similarly, contribution towards approved superannuation fund or pension fund. Superannuation fund also means pension fund. So if somebody has taken a pension plan and somebody is investing in that, so that is also eligible under section 80C. Similarly, national savings certificate. They are also known as national savings certificate are also known as NSC from post office. Okay. Will you remember them? And next is ELSS of mutual fund. ELSS, what is the full form of ELSS? There is a particular plan. This is called equity linked saving scheme, ELSS of mutual fund. So there are hundreds of schemes of mutual fund, but specifically if somebody invests in ELSS, equity linked savings scheme of mutual fund, then if you have invested in this scheme, then this also comes under section 80C. Similarly, there is another plan for girl child. This is known as Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana of post office. So this scheme is for girl child up to 12 years of age. Then there is a senior citizen saving scheme from post office or bank. If somebody has invested in this scheme, senior citizen saving scheme, this is only for senior citizens who are more than 60 years of age. Then next is principal amount of housing loan. If you have taken a housing loan and you are paying the EMI, so principal amount of EMI of housing loan is also eligible for this. Then tuition fees for up to 2 children also come into this. Then 5-year fixed deposit of scheduled bank or post office is also eligible under section 80C. ये याद रहेगा आपको? Will you remember this? I have got another presentation also which will also run side by side. So you can see now together all these things. Section 80C. I will also talk about section 80CCC. Okay, let me first of all show my slide only, then I'll come back to this slide. Okay, so therefore life insurance premium, EPF contributions, PPF contributions, pension plan contribution, NSC investment, ELSS investment of mutual fund, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana of post office, senior citizen savings scheme of post office, principal amount of EMI of housing loan, tuition fees for up to 2 children, and 5-year fixed deposit of scheduled bank or post office comes under section 80C. And the maximum amount which you can invest is 1,50,000. So you can invest 1,50,000 in any one of them or in combination of any of them. For example, some amount you may have invested in life insurance premium, some amount in EPF, some amount in pension plan, some you have bought some NSC. So it could be in 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, or any one of them. But the maximum amount which you can avail as a deduction is 1,50,000. Next, there is another section called section 80CCC. This is specifically, this deduction is for pension plans only. So it is written that deduction in respect of contribution to certain pension plans. Individuals can avail this. What is the eligible amount? Amount paid or deposited under an annuity plan of the Life Insurance Corporation of India or any other insurer for receiving pension. So you can buy this pension plan either from insurance company, or this insurance plan could be, sorry, not insurance plan, this pension plan could be, you can buy from an insurance company also, or it can be provided through your employer. But now what has happened? There is no separate limit of section 80CCC. It has been, so see my second point where my cursor is. This says that this section has been merged with section 80C. So 80C का what is the limit? 1,50,000. So pension plan भी उसमें लिखा हुआ था. तो ये जो पहले अलग होता था pension plan section 80CCC में, तो अब इसको 80CCC को 80C में ही merge कर दिया गया है. But any amount withdrawn or pension received from the plan is taxable in the hands of the assessee or nominee in the year of receipt. Pension जब भी उसको मिलेगी इस plan में, ये जो क्या deduction क्या है, जो contribution कर रहा है, when the person is not retired and the person is contributing to the pension fund, so that contribution can be deducted year after year. Whereas at the time of retirement, when the person will get the pension out of that fund, so that pension will be a taxable income. Now another section is called section 80CCC. This is also for pension scheme of central government. So central government has launched a special pension scheme which is actually known as a national pension scheme. National pension scheme, or in short this is also known as NPS. So this section 80CCC 80 double CD, CCD, you can remember, Cafe Coffee Day. So this is specifically for NPS of central government. So individual who is an employee of central government on or after 1st January 2004, he he's a subscriber to this pension plan. So eligible amount is whatever deposit he has made under the pension scheme, which is notified by the central government. So no deduction must have claimed under Section 80C. Any amount received from the scheme is taxable in the hands of in the hands of assessee in that year or received. And what is the amount of deduction? Aggregate of the amount deposited by the employee and the central government, or 10% of the salary, whichever is lower. So whatever amount he deposit as a pension plan, so one can deposit up to 10% of the basic salary. So that amount can be deducted. However, this section also has been merged with 80C. So the agreement gate amount of deductions under Section 80C, 80CCC and 80CCD put together cannot exceed 1,50,000. Right? So now let us see it through my another presentation. Now altogether you can see these sections 80C oblique 80CCC oblique 80CCD. So here we are also writing that the maximum deduction combining all these investments or expenditure is rupees 1.5 lakh only. So following options are there. It can be investments under Provident Fund. Provident Fund can be Employee Provident Fund or Voluntary Provident Fund, or it can be Public Provident Fund, PPF, Sukanya Samriddhi Account, National Saving Certificate, Senior Citizen Saving Scheme, tax saving fixed deposit of 5 years, or it can be from life insurance premium or various pension plans. Pension plans could be from mutual funds, pension plans could be from insurance companies. It can be NPS of central government, new pension scheme or national pension scheme. It could be in mutual fund scheme, that is the ELSS, equity linked saving scheme, or it could be some other central government employee pension scheme, or it could be your principal payment amount on your EMI of own home loan. Or yes, this thing was not there in that slide. Stamp duty on and registration cost of the house has also now been included. Suppose you buy a new house and you want to get your house registered with the registrar office in the court. So whatever stamp duty which you pay, for example, nowadays the stamp duty is around 6% to 7% of the value of the property, of the market value of the property, or of the circle rate, whichever is higher. So if you have paid any stamp duty, you have purchased any house and you have paid the stamp duty and the registry cost, so that also you can avail under Section 80C. Or if you have up to 2 children, you can claim their tuition fees, whether it is school going child or a college going child. I think this is clear to all of you. These sections, I think you will remember.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
These investment plans also you can remember. Fine. Now we come to deduction under Section 80D. Again, 80D is also a very common deduction which most of the people try to avail. 80D says that there can be a deduction in respect of medical insurance premium. Remember, 80C में जो medical insurance, it was not medical insurance. So in 80C it was life insurance premium, right? So there is a difference between life insurance premium and medical insurance premium. Let me ask you people, what is the difference between life insurance and medical insurance? Yes, I am waiting for your answers. Difference between life insurance and medical insurance.
सर मैं
यस यस, कौन
सर
बोल रहे हैं?
मेडिकल
प्रिंस अप?
यस सर
हाँ बताइए।
सर मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस इज समथिंग वेयर इफ समथिंग मेडिकली हैपेंस तो उसमें वो जो फंड होता है वो हम लोग रिडीम कर सकते हैं, वेयर एज लाइफ इंश्योरेंस में होता है इट इज़ फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर एज, और उस एज से पहले या उस एज तक अगर हमारी डेथ हो जाती है तो हमारे घर वालों को उसका बेनिफिट मिलेगा।
अच्छा।
और मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस में ये होता है सर कि अगर हमारे साथ कुछ मेडिकल इंसिडेंस हो जाता है, फॉर एग्जांपल एक्सीडेंट या कोई बीमारी होती है, तो उस टाइम में वो रिडीम होता है सर।
अच्छा अच्छा, ओके, हाँ, वेरी गुड वेरी गुड। सो यस, so you are right.
थैंक यू सर।
So once again, so everybody understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So life insurance is for covering the risk of death, and medical insurance is to cover the risk of hospitalization. As simple as that. So life insurance is dealt by different insurance company, which is life insurance company, whereas medical insurance is dealt by health insurance company or by general insurance company. So medical insurance is that person has not died, but he or she had to be hospitalized. So hospitalization expenses are covered in medical insurance plan. Whereas in life insurance plans, the risk of death is covered. If the person dies, then the money is given to the surviving family members of the deceased person. So therefore, life insurance plans comes under section 80C, whereas the medical insurance plans come under section 80D. So this plan is only for medical insurance premium. Whereas in section 80C, as you have seen, there are so many other plans, right? So once again, let me open this. So in 80C, 80CCC, life insurance is one of them, but there are so many other things. So in totality, you have to spend 1.5 lakh in any one of them, or in combination of all of them, or any two of them, any three of them. That is up to you, right? Whereas 80D is only specifically for medical insurance premium only. Fine. So just 1 minute. Huh? Okay. So it is also meant for individuals as well as for HUF. What is the eligible amount? Insurance premium paid in accordance with the scheme framed by the general insurance companies and health insurance companies approved by IRDAI, which is a regulatory body for insurance, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. So they have allowed only health insurance companies and general insurance companies to offer such kind of plans. And what is the amount? So first of all, condition, the amount should be paid by check out of the taxable income, and the policy is taken on the health of the assessee, on the health of spouse or dependent parents or dependent children of the assessee, in case of HUF on the health of any member of the family. So one can take a plan for self, for spouse, and for dependent parents or dependent children. So how much amount of deduction is allowed? 100% of the premium paid, subject to the maximum of 50,000 in the case of senior citizens, that is those who are above 60 years, and for those who are less than 60 years, for them it is 25,000 in case of others. Okay, so this is section 80D again. This is also very popular section. So let me show you from another slide also. Yeah, so 80D, you see from this slide also, medical insurance. So just watch my cursor over here. So we are saying medic premium paid for mediclaim or health insurance for self, spouse, children, and parents qualify for deduction under Section 80D. You can claim maximum deduction of 25,000 in case you are below 60 years of age and 50,000 above 60 years of age. An additional deduction of 25,000 can be claimed for buying health insurance for your parents, or 50,000 in case of either parents being a senior citizen. And this deduction can be claimed irrespective of parents being dependent on you or not. So it is not necessary that parents should be dependent. You can still pay premium for them and you will get the deduction. But this is not available for buying health insurance for in-laws. In-laws के लिए cover नहीं है. HUFs can also claim this deduction for premium paid for ensuring the health of any member of the HUF. Right? इसके अंदर एक और ये see my cursor, this in the red ink. Budget 2013 introduced deduction of rupees 5,000 is also allowed for preventive health checkup for self, spouse, dependent children and parents. It's continued in this financial year also. Thus, rupees 5,000 is within 25,000 limit of for health insurance. So suppose your health insurance premium comes out to only 10,000 rupees. So, but you can avail 25,000. So you can also get a preventive health checkup on you up to 5,000 rupees. So that also you can claim within this limit of 25,000. Fine. So parents need not be dependent. So parents or dependent children of the assessee. Is it clear? Section 80D. 80D is for health insurance premiums. Yes, I want to know your yes or no. And if there is any doubt, do ask. Faraz?
No, sir, no doubt.
No doubt. Okay. Prince?
Yes, sir. No doubt, sir.
Very good. Okay. So next, we come to another section called Section 80DD. DD. So this is a deduction in respect of disabled and dependent family member. So you can also remember this is a tip. DD is for disabled and dependent. If suppose some family member in a family unfortunately is a disabled person, so and this person is spending money on him, some expenditure, so eligible amount will be expenditure incurred on medical treatment or an amount paid or deposited under any scheme framed by LIC of India or any other insurer for the payment of an annuity or a lump sum for the benefit of such dependent. या तो उसके लिए जो खर्चा हो रहा है उस स्पेशली एबल्ड बोलते हैं, वहां उनको डिसेबल्ड नहीं बोलते. नाउडेज वी कॉल दिस पर्सन एज स्पेशली एबल्ड पर्सन. तो उसके इलाज में जो भी खर्चा है वो भी कर सकते हैं, या उसके नाम पे कोई उसके लिए अगर पेंशन प्लान लिया है उसके घर वालों ने कि भाई कल को ये हमारा बच्चा है, हम रहे ना रहे कम से कम इसकी रेगुलर इनकम आती रहेगी, तो उसका भी जो प्रीमियम पे कर रहे हैं वो इसके अंदर आ जाएगा डिसेबल्ड बच्चे के. इसमें कंडीशंस क्या है? दैट द ये थोड़ा ना assessee shall have to furnish a certificate in the prescribed form. assessee को एक सर्टिफिकेट फर्निश करना पड़ेगा, वो जो डिसेबिलिटी का एक सर्टिफिकेट होता है. एंड डिपेंडेंट मींस डिपेंडेंट कौन हो सकता है? स्पाउस, चिल्ड्रन, पेरेंट्स एंड सिबलिंग्स, भाई बहन भी हो सकते हैं. In case of individuals or any member of the family, in case of HUF. Person with severe disability means a person suffering from 80% or more of one or more disability. Severe disability को define किया है जिसके जो 80% से ज्यादा disability हो जिसके पास. तो अगर नॉर्मल डिसेबिलिटी है तो उसमें 50,000 का डिडक्शन मिलेगा. अगर सीवियर डिसेबिलिटी में आता है, जैसे हाथ खराब है या पैर खराब है या देख नहीं सकता या सुन नहीं सकता या बोल नहीं सकता, तो उसमें उसकी सीवियरिटी के ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा. तो अगर ज्यादा सीवियर है, 80% से ज्यादा वो चीज सीवियर है, डिसेबल्ड है, तो 75,000 रुपीज तक का डिडक्शन ले सकते हैं। नीचे लिखा है दिस इज इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द अमाउंट स्पेंड, और जरूरी नहीं है कितना अमाउंट स्पेंड किया है उसको इतना फ्लैट एक डिडक्शन मिल जाता है उसके इनकम। ठीक है, तो 80 डी, इसलिए मैंने बोला था कि 80C और 80D जो सबके ऊपर एप्लीकेबल होता है, इसलिए ये सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलर है। बाकी अभी जो सेक्शंस हैं वो सबके ऊपर एप्लीकेबल नहीं होते, और भगवान करे किसी के ऊपर एप्लीकेबल भी ना हो ये सेक्शंस। तो ये सेक्शंस जो इसके बाद जितने भी सेक्शंस हैं मोस्टली दे माइट नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल टू ऑल द पीपल। तो इतना आपको याद रखना है। तो 80C और 80D को बिल्कुल उसको आपको क्रैम करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वो आपके ऊपर भी अप्लाई करें होंगे द मोमेंट यू स्टार्ट वर्किंग, द मोमेंट यू स्टार्ट अर्निंग, एंड सम ऑफ यू आर स्टिल अर्निंग, तो आपके ऊपर शायद अभी भी एप्लीकेबल है, या अभी भी कोई आपके फादर ने, आपके पेरेंट्स ने कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट आपके नाम से किया हुआ, तो अभी भी आपकी इनकम हो सकती है। तो ये तो आपके ऊपर कभी भी एप्लीकेबल हो सकते हैं 80C एंड 80D। अब हम दूसरे एक स्लाइड से भी देखते हैं 80D में, ये 80D में ये क्या बोलते हैं। सी माई पर्पज इज के 80D, हाँ ये आ गया, देखिए 80D, इट इज फॉर हैंडीकैप डिपेंडेंट और यू कैन से डिसेबल्ड डिपेंडेंट। देखिए, नाउ आई एम रीडिंग दिस ऑल्सो, इन केस यू हैव डिपेंडेंट हु इज डिफरेंटली एबल्ड, you can claim deduction for expenses on his maintenance and medical treatment. You can claim up to 75,000 or actual expenditure incurred, whichever is less. The limit is 1.25 lakh for severe conditions. Okay, अच्छा, ये हमारा 18-19 के लिए था। अभी ये अगर हम ये 19-20 का है एक्चुअली, उसमें मैं चेंज नहीं कर पाया, तो मैंने 50 और 75 दिखाया आपको। तो देखिए, अब आपके लिए 18-19 पूछता है, तो ये होगा 50 एंड, कहाँ गया, सॉरी, 50 एंड 75। अब इन्होंने इसको 19-20 के लिए 75 इसके लिए कर दिया था, और 1,25,000 इसके लिए कर दिया था, राइट। So for severe condition, so dependent can be parent, spouse, children or siblings, and the dependent should not have claimed any deduction for self. तो ये कुछ उन्होंने बीमारियां दी हुई हैं, कौन कौन सी, जैसे ब्लाइंडनेस है, विजन प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, लेप्रोसी क्योर्ड, हियरिंग इम्पेयरमेंट, लोकोमीटर डिसेबिलिटी मतलब चल फिर नहीं सकता, या मेंटल रिटार्डेशन, और या इलनेस है, मेंटली रिटार्डेड कोई बच्चा हो गया किसी घर में, ठीक है, तो उनके लिए है ये। तो इसलिए ये उन फैमिलीज के लिए है जहां पर अनफॉर्चुनेटली इस तरह का केस होता है, ठीक है। तो हर एक के ऊपर अप्लाई नहीं होता, और फिर मैं कह रहा हूं कि हर एक के ऊपर ना ही अप्लाई हो ये। तो इस तरह के ये सेक्शंस बनाए हुए हैं। नेक्स्ट सेक्शन है, ये भी इसी तरह का है, देखिए 80DD, ये है दिस इज अ डिडक्शन इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ स्पेसिफाइड एंड सीरियस डिसीजेस। So again, individuals and HUF can claim this. Eligible amount is expenditure incurred for the medical treatment of such diseases. For example, कुछ डिसीज होती हैं, जैसे पार्किंसंस डिसीज होती है, मेलाइनेंट कैंसर्स हैं, एड्स है, क्रोनिक रीनल फेलियर है, फॉर सेल्फ और डिपेंडेंट इंडिविजुअल। तो इसमें कंडीशंस क्या हैं? The concerned assessee must attach a copy of the certificate, उसको भी कॉपी अटैच करनी पड़ेगी। Dependent again means the spouse, children, parents and sibling, and the deduction shall be reduced by the amount received if any under the insurance from an insurer from the medical treatment of person mentioned in this section or reimbursed by the employer। अगर उसको कोई इंश्योरेंस कंपनी से कोई पैसा मिला है ट्रीटमेंट के लिए, या उसको एम्प्लॉयर से मिल रहा है, तो वो उसमें से कम हो जाएगा, क्योंकि बीमारी वाला केस है। इसमें लिखा है हमने 60,000 फॉर सीनियर सिटीजन, 40,000 इन द केस ऑफ अदर्स। ये 18-19 का एक्चुअली बना हुआ था। तो अब आपके लिए क्या है कि 18-19 का पूछेगा, तो ये 60,000 मैं उसको दोनों तरह से आपको करके भेज दूंगा। और अभी जो 19-20 जो अभी ईयर गया है, उसमें थोड़ा सा बढ़ गया ये। देखिए, इसमें है कॉस्ट इनकम फॉर ट्रीटमेंट, नाउ फॉर सीनियर सिटीजन द अमाउंट इज 1 लाख रुपीज, फॉर ऑल अदर्स इट इज 40,000। So 60,000 was for financial year, I can say 2018-19, and rupees 1 lakh for financial year 2019-20, which has just passed. So for this financial year, for senior citizen, it has become 1 lakh. Earlier it was 60,000, but in case of others 40,000 पहले भी था, वो 40,000 अब भी है. So these are the diseases which are covered: neurological disease, Parkinson's disease, malignant cancers, AIDS, chronic renal failure. Renal failure होता है किडनी फेलियर से रिलेटेड होता है, हीमोफीलिया एंड थैलासेमिया. और इसमें एक सर्टिफिकेट लेना पड़ता है उसको गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल के डॉक्टर से कि प्रूव करने के लिए ये उसको बीमारी है. तो इसके ट्रीटमेंट के लिए जो पैसा खर्च होता है, वो ट्रीटमेंट का पैसा जो है वो इसके अंदर क्लेम कर सकता है, वो क्लेम हो सकता है. ट्रीटमेंट का पैसा इन बीमारियों के लिए. तो गवर्नमेंट ने कहा है कि भाई ये कुछ बड़ी सीरियस बीमारियां हैं, तो इसके ट्रीटमेंट के लिए जो भी पैसा फैमिली खर्च करेगी अपने फैमिली मेंबर के लिए या खुद के लिए, या तो वो भी आप डिडक्शन में क्लेम कर सकते हैं.
सर वो तो हम लोग जैसे कि मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस ले या फिर लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ले, उन दोनों में मेडिकल सर्टिफिकेट पहले देना पड़ता है.
हाँ नहीं, वो तो देना पड़ता है, लेकिन कई बार क्या होता है ना, इन बीमारियों में मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस मिलता नहीं है. एक बार किसी को कैंसर हो गया तो फिर उसको इंश्योरेंस कंपनी दोबारा सपोज रिन्यू कराने जाएगा तो उसको नहीं मिलता है फिर कैंसर का. एड्स वगैरह ये सारी बीमारी बड़ी सीरियस है ना, तो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी जो मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस कंपनी होती है वो भी तो मेडिकल टेस्ट कराती है ना. जो हेल्दी लोग होते हैं उन्हीं को इंश्योरेंस मिलता है. जिनको इतनी ये सीरियस बीमारी हो गई वो तो फिर उनकी तो जितना प्रीमियम देंगे उनकी तो फिर कंपनी चल ही नहीं सकती अगर ऐसे लोगों को उन्होंने सारा इंश्योरेंस दे दिया. तो
इंश्योरेंस लेने से पहले ही मेडिकल टेस्ट होता है, अगर वो
करेक्ट. तो इसके लिए फिर गवर्नमेंट ने ये रूल बनाया कि भाई इन बीमारियों में जो खर्चा फैमिली का हो रहा है और हम उनसे टैक्स ले रहे हैं फैमिली से, तो इसमें इतने रुपए तक, तो उन्होंने लिमिट लगा दी. हालांकि वैसे अगर आप देखिए कि कैंसर अब अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारी फैमिली में मतलब हमारे नियर एंड डियर फैमिली में कैंसर हो गया एक हमारे यहाँ, हमारी ही फैमिली मेंबर में, तो 40,000 ये 1 लाख रुपया कुछ भी नहीं है. अगर आप ट्रीटमेंट कराते हैं, एक इंजेक्शन 50,000 रुपए का आता है और हर महीने एक इंजेक्शन लगता है. 1 लाख रुपए का भी इंजेक्शन लगता है. केमोथेरेपी में बहुत पैसे लगते हैं. तो ये तो गवर्नमेंट ने हाँ, तो कभी अगर आपने प्रॉपर ट्रीटमेंट कराना है तो कैंसर वगैरह की ट्रीटमेंट इज वेरी वेरी कॉस्टली. सारे घर खाली हो जाते हैं इसके अंदर. तो ये तो गवर्नमेंट ने कह रहे 1 लाख रुपए तक सीनियर सिटीजन के लिए दिया है, दूसरे लोगों के लिए 40,000 रुपए तक का आप उसमें डिडक्शन दे दिया कि भाई आप अपने इनकम को कम कर सकते हैं. राइट. सो देन डिडक्शन अंडर सेक्शन 80E. हाँ, ये थोड़ा सेक्शन लोगों के ऊपर, काफी लोगों के ऊपर एप्लीकेबल हो सकता है, बिकॉज इट इज फॉर एजुकेशन. ई इज फॉर एजुकेशन लोन. तो दिस यू रिमेंबर. और हो सकता है बिकॉज यू आर स्टडिंग इन यूजी फाइनल, you are in your final leg, so just after 1 month you will be aspiring for a post graduate course also, many of you. So in case if you want to avail some education loan, तो ये आपके लिए important हो सकता है. So this is deduction in respect of repayment of loan taken for higher education for an individual. ये कॉलेज एजुकेशन के लिए ही है. It is not for school education. Higher education for an individual. Eligible amount क्या है इसमें? Any amount paid by way of interest on loan taken from any financial institution or any approved charitable institution for higher education. अगर आपको लोन लेने की जरूरत पड़ी एजुकेशन के लिए, तो उसका जब आप उसकी EMI चुकाएंगे, उसकी इंस्टॉलमेंट देंगे, तो उसमें जो इंटरेस्ट पार्ट जो आप दे रहे हैं, तो साल भर में ऐड कर लीजिए मैंने कितना इंटरेस्ट दिया है. तो टोटल इंटरेस्ट इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द अमाउंट you can claim as deduction. So conditions amount is paid out of his income chargeable to tax. तो जब वो स्टूडेंट कमाने लगेगा तब वो क्लेम कर सकता है, और कमाने के बाद वो फिर इंस्टॉलमेंट भी उसकी तभी शुरू होती है, पहले नहीं होती. सपोज आपने 2 साल का कोई कोर्स किया है और लोन आज लिया है, तो 2 साल के बाद ही आपकी इंस्टॉलमेंट शुरू होगी. तो हायर एजुकेशन का क्या मतलब है, उन्होंने डिफाइन किया, मींस फुल टाइम स्टडीज, नॉट करस्पॉन्डेंस स्टडीज, for any graduate or postgraduate course in engineering, medicine, management, or for postgraduate course in applied science or pure sciences, including mathematics and statistics. and the deduction shall be allowed for the financial year in which the assessee starts repaying the loan or interest thereon, and 7 years immediately succeeding it, or until the loan together with interest thereon is paid by the assessee in full, whichever is earlier. So what is the meaning over here, sir? That maximum he can avail 8 years. Up to next 8 years, whenever he or she is paying the loan and paying the installment, so out of that he or she can claim, this student earlier who was a student, now he can claim the interest part as the deduction. Next, financial institution means it should be banking company or financial institution notified by the central government. You cannot take loan from some individual. That will not be eligible. It should be a proper bank or some other financial institution which is approved by the central government, or it may be some charitable financial institution also. Approved charitable institution means an institution referred under section so and so. So under Income Tax Act, that charitable institution should be approved institution. Charitable institution में क्या होता है, वो loan देते हैं, but they give it at a very subsidized rate of interest. And what is the amount of deduction? So actual interest paid with no limit, and there is no limit of the amount over here. So the time limit is up to 8 years you can avail, but there is no limit of the amount. Here your amount of deduction can exceed your income also. So my first sentence was saying that it cannot exceed, but here it can exceed. For example, you got a job of say 5 lakh rupees per annum, but you say took a admission in some institution where your loan was say 20 lakh, 25 lakh, 30 lakh rupees loan you have taken, and so your interest can be above say 4 lakh or 5 lakh. Okay, so now we see from the second slide also, you will get the latest. So section 80E. Yes, 80E is education loan. We are saying that the entire interest paid on education loan in a financial is eligible for deduction under section 80E. There is no deduction on principal paid on for the education loan. Whatever principal आप जो पे कर रहे हो, जो आपकी मूल रकम है, वो जो आपने पे किया उसके ऊपर डिडक्शन नहीं होगा, जो इंटरेस्ट पार्ट आपने पे किया उसके ऊपर आपको डिडक्शन मिल रहा है. Then number 3, the loan should be for education of self or spouse or children only. So in your name, either your parents can take the loan, or you can take loan in your own name, or even after marriage, you know, sometimes people want to go for higher studies, so one can take the loan for spouse also. Then if suppose I take a education loan for my wife, so I am earning, let's say my wife is not earning, so I can claim that deduction because I am paying for my wife. I am paying the installment on behalf of my wife. Fine. So again here written, the loan should be taken for pursuing full-time courses only. The loan has to be taken necessarily from approved charitable trust or a financial institution only. And next quick tip is the deduction is applicable for the year you start paying your interest and 7 more years immediately after the initial year. So in all, you can claim education loan deduction for a maximum 8 years. So next is deduction under section 80GG. So let me just check whether this 80GG is still there. Just give me 1 minute. 80GG. Yes, 80GG. First of all, let me read this slide. 80GG over here, you know, you are seeing 80GG is when you are paying house rent in case HR is not part of the salary. Now, if you remember in the class, we were talking about income, how to compute income from salaries. And we had talked about, you know, if the person is getting HRA, then there is a rule. HR is always a partially exempted allowance. So there the rule is that how much he can avail is that, number 1, whatever HRA he's getting from the from the employer or from the company. Number two, whatever actual rent paid minus 10% of the basic salary. And number third is 40% or 50% of the basic salary. So least of them. That was for the employees. But if you are not an employee and you are a self-employed person, but you are living in another city, another town, and you have taken a house and rent. So in case you do not receive HRA or house rent allowance as a salary component, you can still claim house rent deduction under section 80GG. The taxpayer may be either salaried or pensioner or self-employed. To avail this, you need to satisfy the following conditions. Suppose you are also salaried, but you are not getting HRA from your employer, because everybody do not get HRA. So in that case, he can also avail. So the condition is that the rent paid should be more than 10% of the income. And no one in the family, including spouse, minor children, or self, should own a house in the city in which you are living. And if you own a house in a different city, you have to consider rental income on the same. So the house rent deduction is lower of the three numbers. Number first is 5,000 per month, or 25% of the annual income. Or number third, rent paid, that is actual rent paid minus 10% of the annual income. So this one is the same as the employee who is getting HRA, the third point. Second point is instead of 25%, there it is 40% or 50%, depending on the fact that whether he is living in a metro city or non-metro city. And the first one is just a fixed amount over here, 5,000 per month or 60,000 rupees per annum. There it is HRA received. So instead of HRA received, they have said that they have put a limit that 60,000 is the maximum limit per annum. So now we see the same thing in our slide. So deduction under section 80GG is also for house. So this is deduction in respect of an amount of rent paid for non-salaried person or a salaried person not getting HRA from employer. Okay. So this is deduction in respect of amount of rent paid for non-salaried person or a salaried person not getting HRA from employer. So, or any assessee other than assessee having income allowance consisting HRA. So same thing, it has come over here. So what will be the eligible amount? The eligible amount is any expenditure incurred by him on payment of the rent in excess of 10% of its total. This was what was written in the other slide also. So then he should file a declaration. Such accommodation is for self-living or for own residence. So the amount will be excess of actual rent paid over 10% of the adjusted gross total income, or 25% of his adjusted gross total income, or not, and it will come and की जरूरत ही नहीं है. Okay, so or 5,000 per month. The least of these will be his deduction. ठीक है. अब हम आते हैं एक सेक्शन 80U. ये सारे हो गए. ओके. Now 80U is also for physically disabled assessee. Now section 80DD was also for disability. This is also for another section for disability. So here the deduction is 75,000 in case of normal disability, and same, and 1.25 lakh for severe disability. So here they have covered blindness and vision problem, leprosy cured, hearing impairment, locomotor disability, mental retardation, autism, and cerebral palsy. So another
सर ये
section.
सब तो याद नहीं करना ना बीमारियों
ये
का नाम।
नहीं ये नहीं है, बस आपको मेनली ये याद करना है कि हाँ भाई मेन बीमारियां हैं। जैसे ये हमने दे दिया, इसमें भी सेक्शन 80U में इंडिविजुअल रेसिडेंट होना चाहिए और सर्टिफाइड बाय होना चाहिए भाई। जैसे CMO वगैरह का भी सर्टिफिकेट चलेगा या गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल के डॉक्टर
यस
का
सर,
सर्टिफिकेट
यस सर,
चलेगा।
यस सर।
इसमें
यस
ये
सर।
देखिए, ये थोड़ा मैं इसको चेंज करके भेज दूंगा, ये 50,000, क्योंकि आपका 18-19 से भी पूछ सकता है ना। 18-19 में ये थे 50,000 75,000, अब 75,000 और 1.25 लाख कर दिया 19-20 में। तो ये मैं इसके अंदर चेंज कर दूंगा।
ओके सर।
तो ये देखिए मेनली ये इसके अंदर मेन डिडक्शंस हैं। एक दो डिडक्शंस और हैं इसमें जो मैं आपको बता देता हूं। DDB हो गया हमारा, 80A हो गया, 80D हो गया। एक हाँ ये वाला, ये एक सेक्शन 24 है, ये और है। देखिए सेक्शन 24 वो मेरी उस स्लाइड में नहीं है, इसके अंदर इस वाले प्रेजेंटेशन में है। होम लोन का हमने 80C में बताया था ना, कि 80C में बताया था कि आप अगर जो प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट दे रहे हैं होम लोन में, हमने आपको बताया था, सॉरी, एक प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट बताया था आपको। लेकिन होम लोन का जो इंटरेस्ट दे रहे हैं, इंटरेस्ट एंड प्रिंसिपल, तो इंटरेस्ट कवर होगा सेक्शन 24 में, और जो प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट है होम लोन का, दैट विल बी कवर्ड अंडर सेक्शन 80C ओवर हियर रिटन। So interest under section 24 and principal under section 80C. So total limit of 80C is 1.5 lakh. So principal also is a part of that 1.5 lakh under section 80C. But section 24 is for interest amount. What is interest amount? Here the limit is around 2 lakhs. See, it is written that budget 2017 has capped the maximum deduction on income or loss from house to rupees 2 lakh, irrespective of the house being rented or self-occupied or number of houses. So section 24 covers loss or gain from housing property. For section 24, all the rent you receive from houses is your income, while the interest paid on housing loan is considered as your expense. So broadly speaking, the income minus expense subject to certain condition is added to your income. In case the interest paid is more than your rental income, the above calculation is negative and hence a deduction to your total income.
Sir, for home loan, is this the residential home?
Yes.
We're talking about residential. Okay.
Only for residential home, now not for commercial property. So if you have taken any loan to build your own house, because government gives incentive to people who build their own house, so government is soft on them. So whatever principal amount in your EMI, equal monthly installment, there are two components, principal amount and interest amount. Suppose your total EMI comes out to, let's say, 15,000 rupees per month. So in 15,000 rupees, suppose in 1 month your principal amount is 11,000 rupees and your interest amount is 4,000 rupees. So 11,000 rupees will go in section 80C, which is principal amount, and interest amount 4,000 rupees will go in section 24. So up to 2 lakh rupees per annum, you can get deduction for interest part.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
So is it clear? We have covered all these sections. So now you see So basically 80C, 80 triple C and 80 double CD, if you are seeing on this slide, and also they are all under limit of 1.5 lakh. So 80C we discussed options like PPF, ELSS, FD, etc. So various options are there. 80 triple C is only for pension products, and 80 double CD is for central government employee pension scheme. Now there is another section under this which I did not tell you earlier, is called section 80 double CD1B. ये एक नेशनल पेंशन स्कीम जो मैंने बताई थी, ये एक वॉलंटरी उसके अंदर पार्ट है. एक है नेशनल पेंशन स्कीम, इसके अंदर आती है, जो कि आपके एम्प्लॉयर के थ्रू होती है, जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉय के लिए होती है. और एक अगर आप भले ही इवन इफ यू आर अ बिजनेसमैन और अ प्रोफेशनल, यू कैन स्टिल ओपन एन अकाउंट इन एनपीएस अंडर दिस सेक्शन. So if you are paying 50,000 rupees under this, then you get an additional exemption of additional deduction of 50,000 rupees. For example, this financial year just ended, 1920 ended on 31st of March. I have myself deposited 40,000 rupees online on 28th of March itself, because just 3 days were left to end this financial year. So on 28th of March, I have deposited in my own personal account of NPS 50,000 rupees. So I will get an additional 50,000 rupees deduction. So I have deposited 1.5 lakh under section 80C and 50,000. So 2 lakh rupees deduction I will get from my income straight away. Similarly, 80D, I have spent, so 25,000 is the limit for people who are not senior citizens. So 25,000 tak I could have spent. I have spent around 17,000 plus 10, rather I've spent little more than, I have spent around 27,000. So I will get 25,000 deduction over here. So 2,25,000 rupees will be deducted from my total income straight away. Rest of them are not applicable to me. So because this 80 double D is for disabled, 80 double DB is for certain diseases, 80U is also for disabled. So with the grace of God, I don't want to avail them. 80 is for education loan. So there is no child, there is no for education loan. So ये भी मेरे ऊपर applicable नहीं होता. Section 24 is if you are paying interest on your housing loan. So again, with the grace of God, I am living in my own house, so I have not taken any loan. तो हर एक के ऊपर applicable नहीं होता ना. This is what I am saying. Then 80 double EA, अच्छा ये एक नया section इन्होंने start किया था, which I did not tell you. Additional tax deduction of 1.5 lakh on home loan on purchase of affordable home. If you have taken a affordable house की एक definition है जो गवर्नमेंट बना रही है, बहुत सारे बिल्डर्स बना रहे हैं, उसमें एक एडिशनल 1.5 लाख की है. तो ये भी मेरे ऊपर एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा. हमने कोई होम लोन लिया ही नहीं, अफोर्डेबल होम है भी नहीं, हमारा अच्छा घर है. देन 80 double EB is for auto loan, additional tax deduction on 1.5 lakh on auto loan on purchase of electrical vehicle. हाँ, last year actually a new section was started that to encourage electrical vehicles. If you have bought an electrical vehicle and on loan, so up to 1.5 lakh rupees, whatever loan you are repaying, you can get an additional deduction. तो next time जब भी गाड़ी खरीदना, तो electrical vehicle खरीदना, you will get an additional deduction.
सर टाटा की भी आई है सर.
अच्छा, good.
टाटा नेक्सन आई है सर.
Sir, for that section 80 EEA, the affordable houses, does that include that economically weak section house?
हाँ. Yes. So let me go to the further detail, because this section came just in the last year budgets. So let me go to the detail of this in this. If I can find this detail. Once again, yeah, it has come back to that. Public Provident Fund, NSC, National Pension Scheme, Life Insurance Plan, Stamp Duty, Home Loan, Interest and Principal, Affordable Housing, yes. Interest, yes. Now next slide, yes. Budget 2019 has introduced additional tax deduction for payment of interest on home loan for purchase of affordable home. So following are the eligible conditions. Number one, the home loan is taken from approved financial institution between 1st April 2019 to March 31st, 2020. So those who have taken loan now till March 31st were eligible. Now today we are already, today is 7th of April. So if we take today, we will not be eligible. So 1 year window was given to people to take loan. Then the stamp value of the duty is less than 45 lakh. The stamp duty should not be more than 45 lakh. And then number third, the buyer should not have any other house in his name at the time of loan sanction. तो क्योंकि मेरे नाम पे घर है तो मैं तो एलिजिबल हुई नहीं इसके लिए. Then total deduction on interest on housing loan will be 3.5 lakh because 2 lakh under section 24, which we just told you for interest, 1.5 lakh under section EEA. Achha, so he will not get that deduction for normal house under section 80C. He will get, नहीं वो तो फिर पहले भी था. Total deduction will be 3.5 lakh. ये थोड़ा गलत लिखा है. He will get 1.5 lakh over there also, I think 1.5 lakh here also, and 2 lakh under section 24 also. So this is the additional deduction for him. Then auto loan for electrical vehicle. Again, budget 2019 has introduced additional tax deduction for payment of interest on auto loan taken for the purpose of electrical vehicle. So here also, the loan should be sanctioned by the financial institution like banks, NBFCs, etc. between 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2023. तो इसके लिए अभी हम eligible हैं because affordable housing has ended now on 31st of March. But for this, till 2023, if we buy any electrical vehicle and we take a auto loan, so only the interest part of the loan is eligible for deduction under this EEB. The maximum amount of deduction in a financial year is 1.5 lakh. So last year they were added to, see, it is the government's prerogative that government, if it wants to encourage the sale of electrical vehicles, it can make these tax laws. Similarly, it wanted to encourage sale of affordable housing so that people who cannot afford very costly houses, so they should get tax deductions, right? So government, keeps on, framing these rules to encourage certain things or to discourage certain. Now there is another section which, which I missed over here. Just 1 minute. Section 80G. Sorry. Section 80G कहाँ पर चला गया वो? That is for donation. नहीं. 80G कहाँ चला गया? So I'll just come back to you on section 80G. Tuition fees, home loan, and auto loan. Then this is 80D, 80E I have told you, 80DD I have told you, 80U I have told you, 80DD I have told you.
So it's in 80G donation.
80GGA, yes. 80G, yes. 80G, section 80G. You see my cursor. This is very important section again. It is donation to approved charitable organizations. So I'm reading it. The government encourages us to donate to charitable organization by providing tax deduction for the same under section 80G. Some donations are exempted for 100% of the amount donated, while for others it is 50% of the donated amount. Also, for most donation, the maximum exemption that you can claim is limited to 10% of your gross annual income. So for some donations, you will have to see. So there are some certain names of some organizations. For some organization, you can claim 100% of whatever you have donated. For some organization, you can claim 50%. Whereas for some organization, you can claim 10% of your gross annual income. So how to claim this deduction? You have to take a signed and stamped receipt from the institution where you have given the donation. And the receipt should have registration number. So income tax department. So this charitable, it is not that you give to any charitable person whosoever comes to your house, then it will not be eligible. This organization should be registered. So therefore, it should have a registration number issued by the income tax department printed on it. And your name on the receipt should match with that of the on the PAN number. Also, the amount donated should be mentioned both in number and words. So, and only donation made in cash or check are eligible for deduction. Donation in kind like giving clothes, food, etc. is not covered for tax exemption. Right? So, for example, in 100%, I'll give you just some idea, like Prime Minister Relief Fund, Prime Minister's Disaster Relief Fund, Prime Minister, right now I told you at the very outset, Prime Minister PM Cares Fund. So, if you give donation to such similarly, there are some other such funds approved by central government. You can claim 100%. 50%, for example, there is a Jawaharlal Nehru Trust, something like that, or some scientific trusts are there. There you can claim.
सर
50%.
ये सब सर कल न्यूज में दिखा रहे थे, सिर्फ अपनी पॉपुलैरिटी गेन करने के लिए ये वीडियो बना के कंट्रीब्यूशन करते हैं सर ये। जैसे किसी को डोनेट कर रहे हैं तो सोशल मीडिया पे डालेंगे, सारे एक्टर एक्ट्रेस सर ये लोग।
हाँ।
ये सब इनकी टेक्निक्स होती है सर, बहुत बेकार।
ये तो खैर पॉपुलैरिटी भी है, फिर इनको ना एग्जेम्पशन भी मिल जाता है इनकम टैक्स।
हाँ, सारा ब्लैक का पैसा दे देंगे डोनेट में और अपना नाम बना लेंगे।
करेक्ट। फिर एक और इसी से रिलेटेड, बस हम इसको, ये हमारा लास्ट स्लाइड है आज का। सो अगेन एक GGA है, सेक्शन GGA इज फॉर डोनेशन फॉर साइंटिफिक रिसर्च। ये स्पेशली इफ यू हैव गिवन टू सर्टेन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फॉर साइंटिफिक रिसर्च, फॉर एग्जांपल 100% टैक्स डिडक्शन यू कैन गेट टू अ साइंटिफिक रिसर्च एसोसिएशन और यूनिवर्सिटी, कॉलेज और अदर इंस्टीट्यूशन फॉर अंडरटेकिंग ऑफ साइंटिफिक रिसर्च or statistical research or social research or for rural development or for urban poverty eradication fund, national urban poverty eradication fund. If you give a donation, then you can claim 100% deduction under this section. Then there is this last section 80GGC. This is for donation to political parties. 100% tax deduction is allowed for donation to a political party registered under section 29A. Donation made in cash or kind is not for tax exempt. So you have to give donation only through check or demand draft. Cash is not eligible. That is why many companies give donation to these political parties, whether it is any, so it should be a registered political party. Right. So we come to the end of this deductions part. Okay, so now I have minimized it. Okay. Okay, so now I am before you. Now, if there are any questions, now you can please ask regarding deductions. I'll send these slides to you, both the slides, and you will get, a lot of details about it. For example, in section 80C, in one of the slide, they have given each and every detail also about what is EPF, what is PPF. You need not go through so much of detail. You only have to remember, what are the various deductions under 80C. But for your own knowledge, for your own curiosity, yes, you can study them, because 80C, again, I will repeat, 80C, 80D are applicable to everybody. 80E may be applicable to you people if you take education loan in future or in the coming times. And similarly, 80 section 24 may be relevant for those people who will take housing loan in future. Then recently we have seen this 80EEG is if you buy electrical vehicle. This can also be applicable on us if we decide in future to change our vehicle or to buy a new vehicle. So, and if we buy electrical vehicle, so therefore rest of the sections are eligible are applicable to specific people, like disabled people, like very sick people, so on and so forth. And similarly, donations will be applicable to those people who have got huge money, and through donations they can reduce their tax liability. And again, I would say that donation should not be just given to reduce the tax liability. Donation should be given with a kind heart, with the proper intention. Yes, they get tax deduction also, so that is a added incentive to them. So any questions, students?
Yes, sir. Question.
So I hope you have enjoyed the lecture.
सर हर लेक्चर एंजॉय करते हैं सर आपके.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So very good.
स्वाद
very
आता है
good.
सर, स्वाद.
Okay, good. So we are ending the session, and thereafter we'll take the your attendance also. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Sir,
much.
I have
sir.
a question.